I'm standing in a gas station parking lot in Trenton, New Jersey. I'm 14 years old. My mom's car is gone. But let me back up, because the thing nobody tells you about betrayal is that it doesn't announce itself. It walks in wearing a normal face, on a normal Saturday morning, smelling like coffee and sunscreen. My name is Emily Cooper. The summer I turned 14, I learned that the person who's supposed to protect you can also be the one who destroys you. And sometimes, they do it on purpose. Growing up, people always said my family looked normal. We lived in a decent neighborhood, not far from the Jersey Shore. My mom worked at a dental office. We had a small house with a front porch. From the outside, we were fine. But inside that house, everything felt like walking on ice that was already cracked. One wrong word, one wrong look, and everything shattered. My mom, Karen, had this philosophy about raising kids. She called it real-world lessons. She'd say things like, "Life doesn't babysit anyone, Emily," or, "You need to toughen up before the world does it for you." I didn't argue. I never argued. My dad left when I was 9. Packed his truck one afternoon and drove to Colorado without saying goodbye. After that, it was just me and her. Me and her rules. Me and her lessons. I want to tell you she was cruel, but that's not the right word. She wasn't violent. She didn't scream. She was cold. Controlled. She'd look at me like I was a problem she was trying to solve, not a kid she was trying to raise. And the worst part? I thought it was normal. I thought every kid felt like this, like they were constantly being tested, constantly failing, constantly not enough. But that Saturday in July, something shifted. I didn't know it yet, but that morning wasn't about teaching me anything. It was about revenge. Not against me, against someone I hadn't spoken to in 5 years. It started with her waking me up early. No explanation. Just, "Get dressed. We're going out." I remember pulling on shorts and a t-shirt, confused but obedient. She was already in the car, engine running, sunglasses on. She didn't look at me when I climbed into the passenger seat. We drove for almost an hour. Past neighborhoods I recognized, then ones I didn't. The radio was off. She didn't speak. I sat there watching strip malls and traffic lights blur past, wondering where we were going but too scared to ask. I didn't know this yet, but she'd been planning this for weeks. Maybe months. I didn't know that the route she was taking had been mapped out, calculated. I didn't know that every mile we drove away from home was intentional. All I knew was that something felt wrong. We finally pulled off an exit near Trenton. The kind of area where everything looks temporary: gas stations, fast food places, motels with missing letters on their signs. She parked next to a pump at a rundown station that sold stale sandwiches and cheap keychains. She turned off the engine and sat there for a second, staring straight ahead. Then she reached into her purse and pulled out a $5 bill. She held it out to me without looking. "Go inside," she said. "Buy something. Anything you want." I stared at the money. She never gave me treats. Never offered me anything without a reason. "Go on," she said. Her voice was calm. Too calm. I took the bill and got out of the car. My stomach felt tight, but I didn't know why. I walked across the hot pavement, pushed open the glass door, and stood under the fluorescent lights inside. The store smelled like burnt coffee and cleaning chemicals. I grabbed a bottle of water and a pack of gum, paid at the counter, and walked back outside. That's when I saw it. The parking spot was empty. Her car was gone. At first, I thought she'd moved to a different pump. I looked around, scanning the lot. Maybe she went to park in the shade. Maybe she's filling up on the other side. But deep down, I already knew. She left me there. On purpose. I stood there holding my water bottle and gum like an idiot, staring at the empty space where her car had been. My first thought wasn't panic. It was confusion. Then denial. She's coming back. She's testing me. She wants to see if I'll freak out. So I didn't freak out. I walked over to the side of the building where there was a bench covered in peeling paint and sat down. I told myself she'd be back in 5 minutes. 10, maybe. I waited. The sun climbed higher. The heat came off the pavement in waves. Cars pulled in, filled up, left. Nobody looked at me twice. Just another kid sitting outside a gas station in July. 15 minutes passed. Then 30. My chest started to feel tight. I kept replaying the drive in my head, trying to remember if she'd said anything, any hint, any clue. But there was nothing. Just silence and that $5 bill. 40 minutes. I opened the water bottle and took a sip, but my throat felt like it had closed up. The gum sat next to me, untouched. I couldn't eat. Couldn't think straight. An hour. That's when the panic really hit. She's not coming back. I stood up and walked to the edge of the lot, looking down the road in both directions like I'd somehow spot her car in the distance. But there was nothing. Just traffic. Strangers. A world that didn't care that a 14-year-old girl had just been abandoned at a gas station an hour from home. I went back inside. The cashier, a guy in his 20s with a name tag that said Marcus, glanced up from his phone. "You okay?" he asked. I wanted to say no. I wanted to say my mom left me here and I don't know what to do. But instead I just nodded and walked back outside. Because what was he going to do? Call the cops. Then what? They'd find her, bring me back, and she'd make my life worse than it already was. Or maybe they wouldn't find her. Maybe she'd tell them I ran away. That I was lying. That I was the problem. I sat back down on the bench. 2 hours. The sun was starting to lower. The heat was still brutal, but now there were shadows creeping across the parking lot. I checked my pockets, no phone. She never let me have one. Said I didn't need it. Now I knew why. I thought about walking. But where? I didn't know this area. Didn't know which direction led home. And even if I did, home to what? To her. That's when Marcus came back outside. He had a cordless phone in his hand. "Hey," he said, quieter this time. "You've been out here a while. You sure you're okay?" I looked up at him. For a second, I almost cried. But I didn't. Because crying meant admitting this was real. "I need to make a call," I said. He handed me the phone without asking questions. I stared at the keypad. My hands were shaking. I didn't know my mom's number by heart, I never needed to. She was always there. Always controlling every part of my life. But there was one number I did know. One I'd memorized years ago, back when I was 9 and still thought he might come back for me. My dad's. I dialed. My finger slipped twice before I got it right. The phone rang once. Twice. 3 times. "Pick up. Please pick up." "Hello." His voice hit me like cold water. I hadn't heard it in 5 years, but I recognized it immediately. Older. Tired. But still him. "Dad?" My voice cracked. There was a pause. Then, "Emily." I couldn't speak. My throat closed up completely. I just stood there, gripping the phone, trying not to fall apart. "Emily, where are you? What's wrong?" I swallowed hard. "I'm at a gas station. Near Trenton. She left me here." Another pause. Longer this time. "She left you there." His voice changed. Not surprised. Not confused. Angry. "Stay where you are," he said. "Don't move." I'm coming to get you. You're in Colorado. I'll figure it out. Just stay there. Do you hear me? Stay there. Okay. Emily. His voice softened. I'm coming. I promise. I hung up and handed the phone back to Marcus. He didn't ask who I called. Just nodded and went back inside. I sat back down on the bench and waited. The sun sank lower. The parking lot lights flickered on. Cars came and went. I watched every single one, hoping it was hers, hoping she'd pull in and say it was all a mistake, a misunderstanding. But she didn't. 3 hours after I made the call, headlights turned into the lot, slow, deliberate. A truck I didn't recognize. The driver's side door opened, and my dad stepped out. He looked older. Grayer. But his eyes were the same. And when he saw me sitting there on that bench, his face did something I wasn't expecting. He didn't look surprised. He looked like he'd been waiting for this. He walked over, and I stood up. For a second, we just stared at each other. Then he pulled me into a hug, tight, like he was afraid I'd disappear. I'm sorry, he whispered. I'm so sorry. And that's when I started crying. We didn't talk much on the drive. Not at first. My dad threw my backpack, the only thing I had, into the back seat of his truck and told me to get in. I climbed into the passenger side, buckled up, and stared out the window as we pulled out of the gas station parking lot. I kept waiting for him to ask questions. To demand answers. To be angry. But he wasn't. He was calm. Too calm. He drove in silence for the first 20 minutes, hands steady on the wheel, eyes on the road. The only sound was the hum of the engine and the occasional rush of a car passing us. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. How did you get here so fast? I asked. You're supposed to be in Colorado. He glanced at me, then back at the road. I wasn't in Colorado. I was in Pennsylvania. About 2 hours away. Pennsylvania. Why? He hesitated. I've been closer than you think, Emily. That didn't make sense. If he'd been 2 hours away this whole time, why hadn't he? Why didn't you ever come see me? The question came out sharper than I meant it to. He exhaled slowly. Because your mom made it very clear that if I tried, she'd make things worse for you. And I believed her. I turned to look at him. What does that mean? It means. He paused, choosing his words carefully. Your mom doesn't handle things the way most people do. She doesn't just get angry. She gets even. And she doesn't care who gets hurt in the process. My stomach twisted. You think she did this on purpose? It wasn't a question. But he answered anyway. Yeah, Emily. I do. I stared at him. Why? He was quiet for a long time. Long enough that I thought he wasn't going to answer. Then he said, because she wanted you to feel what she felt when I left. The words hit me like a punch. She told you that. Not directly. But I know your mom. I was married to her for 10 years. He gripped the steering wheel a little tighter. She doesn't forgive. She doesn't forget. And she doesn't let go. I sat back in my seat, trying to process what he was saying. Trying to make sense of it. So this was about you, I said quietly. Not me. He didn't deny it. We drove in silence for another hour. When we finally crossed into Pennsylvania, he pulled off at a rest stop and bought us both food from a vending machine. Chips and a soda. I wasn't hungry, but I ate anyway because I didn't know what else to do. Where are we going? I asked. Denver, he said. I've got an apartment there. Small, but it's enough. You'll have your own room. What about school? I'll enroll you. We'll figure it out. And Mom? He looked at me then, really looked at me, and his expression was something I couldn't quite read. Sadness, maybe. Or regret. What about her? He asked. Aren't you going to call her? Tell her I'm okay. Do you want me to? I opened my mouth to say yes. But the word didn't come out. Because the truth was, I didn't know. Part of me wanted her to panic. To realize what she'd done. To feel something. But another part of me, the part that had been sitting on that bench for 3 hours, didn't care if she ever knew. No, I said finally. He nodded. Then I won't. We got back in the truck and kept driving. Hours passed. The sky turned dark, then black. I dozed off somewhere near the state line and woke up when we pulled into a parking lot outside a small apartment building. We're here, my dad said softly. I looked up at the building. It wasn't much. 3 stories, faded brick, a couple of flickering lights in the stairwell. But it wasn't the gas station. And it wasn't her house. Come on, he said, grabbing my backpack. Let's get you inside. I followed him up the stairs to the 2nd floor. He unlocked the door to apartment 2C and flipped on the light. The place was small. A couch, a TV, a kitchen table with 2 chairs. But it was clean. Quiet. Safe. Your room's down the hall, he said, pointing. It's not much, but it's yours. I walked down the hallway and pushed open the door. A bed. A dresser. A window with blinds. It was the first space I'd ever had that felt like mine. I turned back to him. Thank you. He nodded. Get some sleep, Emily. We'll talk more in the morning. I closed the door and sat down on the bed. My phone, if I'd had one, would have been blowing up. But I didn't have one. And nobody was coming to find me. For the first time in my life, I was free. And I had no idea what that meant. The first week in Denver, I kept waiting for her to show up. Every time a car door slammed outside, I'd freeze. Every time the phone rang, my chest would tighten. I kept expecting her to walk through the door, furious, demanding I come home. But she never did. My dad enrolled me in a local middle school for the fall. He found a therapist who specialized in family trauma, a woman named Dr. Brennan who had an office that smelled like lavender and always kept a box of tissues on the table between us. At first, I didn't talk much in those sessions. I'd sit there, arms crossed, staring at the wall while Dr. Brennan asked me gentle questions I didn't know how to answer. How are you feeling about being here? I don't know. Do you miss your mom? I don't know. Do you feel safe? I don't know. But after a few weeks, something shifted. I started talking. Not a lot. Just little pieces. Small truths I'd been holding onto for so long I forgot they were there. I told her about the silence in the car that day. About the $5 bill. About sitting on that bench, waiting for someone who was never coming back. And Dr. Brennan didn't try to fix it. She just listened. You survived something most people can't imagine, she said one day. And you're still here. That's not nothing, Emily. I didn't believe her at first. But slowly, over time, I started to. School was easier than I expected. Nobody knew me. Nobody knew my story. I was just another kid in the hallway, and for the first time, that felt like a gift. I made a friend, a girl named Zoe who sat next to me in math class and shared her notes when I missed a day. We weren't close, not like best friends or anything. But she was kind. And that mattered. My dad worked long hours at a warehouse, but he was always home for dinner. We'd sit at that small kitchen table and eat together, pasta, sandwiches, whatever he could throw together. He wasn't a great cook, but he tried. And he never once made me feel like I was a burden. Months passed. September turned into October, then November. The leaves changed. The air got colder. And still, my mom didn't call. Not once. At first, I checked my dad's phone obsessively. I'd wait until he was in the shower or at work, then scroll through his call log, looking for her name. Nothing. Then I stopped checking. Because the silence started to feel less like abandonment and more like relief. She didn't want me. And slowly, I realized I didn't want her either. I started doing better in school. My grades went up. I joined an art club that met after school on Thursdays. I wasn't great at drawing, but I liked the quiet focus of it, the way I could put something on paper and make it mean something. Dr. Brennan noticed the change too. "You seem lighter," she said one afternoon. "I feel lighter," I admitted. "That's growth, Emily. That's healing." But even as I healed, there was still a part of me that wondered. Why hadn't she reached out? Not even to apologize. Not even to explain. Did she regret it? Did she miss me? Or had she moved on like I was never there to begin with? I didn't have answers. And I told myself I didn't need them. But then, one day in early December, my dad came home from work with a stack of mail in his hand. He set it down on the table, sorting through bills and junk ads. Then he stopped. He picked up one envelope and stared at it for a long moment. His face changed, jaw tight, eyes hard. He looked at me. "Emily. You need to see this." I walked over slowly. He handed me the envelope. The handwriting on the front was hers. And just like that, the silence broke. I stared at the envelope like it might explode. My dad stood there watching me, waiting. His expression was unreadable, but I could see the tension in his shoulders, the way his hands were clenched at his sides. "Do you want me to open it?" he asked. I shook my head. "No. I'll do it." I sat down at the kitchen table and turned the envelope over in my hands. It was thin. Light. Whatever was inside couldn't be more than a page or two. My fingers trembled as I tore it open. Inside were two things, a folded piece of notebook paper and a set of legal documents clipped together. I pulled out the documents first. The top page had bold letters across the header, "Voluntary relinquishment of parental rights." My stomach dropped. I scanned the text, my eyes catching on phrases like, "hereby relinquishes all legal rights," and "waives all future claims to custody or visitation." She was signing me away. Officially. Legally. Like I was a contract she didn't want to honor anymore. My dad leaned over my shoulder. "She sent that to me weeks ago. I didn't tell you because I wanted to handle it quietly. But now..." "Now what?" "Now she sent you that." He pointed to the folded notebook paper still sitting on the table. I picked it up slowly, unfolded it, and started reading. "Emily. I know you probably hate me. Maybe you should. But I need you to understand something. When your father left, he didn't just leave me. He destroyed me. He took everything I thought my life was going to be and walked away like it meant nothing. Like I meant nothing. For years, I tried to move on. I tried to be strong. I tried to raise you the way I thought you needed to be raised, tough, independent, ready for a world that doesn't care about you. But the truth is, I was angry. Every time I looked at you, I saw him. I saw the choice he made. And I couldn't let it go. That day at the gas station, I didn't plan it to hurt you. I planned it so you would understand. So you would feel what I felt when he left. Abandoned. Alone. Powerless. I needed you to know what it's like when someone you trust just leaves. I thought it would teach you something. I thought it would make you stronger. But maybe I was wrong. I'm signing over my rights because I think it's what's best for you now. You're better off with him. You always were. I don't expect you to forgive me. I don't even expect you to understand. But I need you to know, I didn't do it because I didn't love you. I did it because I loved him, and he broke me. Mom. I read it twice. Then a third time. My hands were shaking so hard I almost dropped the paper. Emily. My dad's voice sounded far away. I looked up at him. She left me there to punish you. He didn't say anything. She wanted me to feel what she felt. She wanted me to hurt the way she hurt. My voice cracked. I was 14. And she used me to get back at you. My dad sat down across from me. His face was pale, tight with guilt. I'm sorry, he said quietly. I should have fought harder. I should have. You didn't do this. I cut him off. She did. He reached across the table and took the letter from my hands. He read it slowly, his jaw clenching tighter with every line. When he finished, he set it down and looked at me. Some people teach lessons, he said. Others learn them too late. What does that mean? It means your mom spent so much time trying to make you feel her pain that she forgot what it cost. And one day, she's going to realize what she lost. But by then, it'll be too late. I wanted to cry. I wanted to scream. I wanted to crumple that letter into a ball and throw it across the room. But instead, I just sat there, numb. Because the worst part wasn't that she left me. It wasn't even that she did it on purpose. It was that she thought it was justified. She thought her pain gave her the right to hurt me. To use me. To abandon me at a gas station like I was a lesson plan instead of her daughter. And she didn't even apologize. My dad stood up and walked to the counter. He picked up the legal documents and flipped through them. I'm not signing these, he said. Why not? Because she doesn't get to walk away that easily. If she wants to give up her rights, she can go through the court system like everyone else. She can stand in front of a judge and explain what she did. He looked at me. And if you want to respond to that letter, you can. But Emily, don't do it for her. Do it for you. I folded the letter back up and slid it into the envelope. I'm not going to respond, I said. Are you sure? Yeah. I stood up. She wanted me to understand how she felt. Well, now I do. And I don't owe her anything. My dad nodded slowly. Okay. I walked to my room, closed the door, and sat on my bed. The letter sat on my desk, staring at me. And I made a decision right then. I wasn't going to let her keep hurting me. I was going to move on. Build a life. Become someone she never thought I could be. And if she ever came back, if she ever tried to be part of my story again, I'd be ready. Not with anger. Not with forgiveness. With silence. Time moves differently when you stop waiting for something to break. The months after the letter turned into years. I stopped thinking about her every day. Then every week. Then at all. I finished middle school with decent grades and started high school at a small campus near our apartment. My dad kept working at the warehouse, picking up extra shifts when he could. Money was tight, but we managed. I got my first job at 16, bagging groceries at the store down the street. It wasn't glamorous, but I liked earning my own money. Liked feeling useful. Dr. Brennan and I still met once a month. The sessions were different now. Less about survival, more about building. "What do you want, Emily?" she asked me one afternoon. I thought about it. "I want to go to college. Maybe study photography or design. I want to make something that matters. Then do it." So I did. I saved money from my job. I studied harder. I took AP classes even though they stressed me out, because I wanted options. I wanted a future that wasn't defined by what happened at that gas station. I graduated high school a semester early. Not because I was a genius, I wasn't. But because I didn't have distractions. No drama. No toxic relationships. Just focus. When I got my acceptance letter to community college, my dad cried. Actually cried. "I'm proud of you," he said, pulling me into a hug. "You know that, right?" "I know." And I did. For the first time in my life, I knew what it felt like to be seen. To be valued. To matter. I started college in the fall, majoring in digital media. I took classes in graphic design, video editing, photography. I wasn't the best student in any of them, but I loved the work. I made friends, real ones. People who didn't know my story, didn't ask invasive questions, just accepted me as I was. And slowly, quietly, I started sharing pieces of my life online. I created a private account on a platform where I posted my photography projects, shots of Denver streets, close-ups of coffee cups, sunsets over the mountains. Nothing dramatic. Just small moments that felt beautiful. Then I made it public. Not because I wanted attention. But because I wanted to own my story. I wanted proof that I existed beyond what she did to me. My follower count was small. A few hundred people, mostly classmates and strangers who liked my aesthetic. But it was mine. I posted photos of my dad and me at dinner. Of my campus. Of projects I was proud of. I didn't caption them with trauma or explanations. I just let them exist. And for the first time, I felt free. I didn't check to see if she was watching. Didn't wonder if she'd somehow find me. Because honestly, I didn't care anymore. She'd made her choice. And I'd made mine. Years passed. I turned 20. Then 21. I finished my associate degree and transferred to a 4-year university. I moved into a small apartment with a roommate who became one of my closest friends. My life wasn't perfect. I still had hard days. Still went to therapy when things felt heavy. But I was happy. Actually, genuinely happy. My dad and I stayed close. We had dinner every Sunday. He met my friends. Came to my gallery showings when I had them. Showed up in ways she never did. One night, over takeout, he asked me something he'd never asked before. "Do you ever think about her?" I paused, chopsticks halfway to my mouth. "Sometimes." "Do you hate her?" I thought about it. Really thought about it. "No," I said finally. "I don't hate her. I just don't need her anymore." He nodded. "That's fair." We kept eating. And I thought that was the end of it. That I'd moved on. That the past was behind me. But I was wrong. Because last winter, something happened that I wasn't prepared for. She found me. Not in person. Not through my dad. Online. She found my account. Saw the life I'd built. The person I'd become. And suddenly, after all those years of silence, she wanted back in. It was late December when the message request came through. I was sitting in my apartment, scrolling through my phone before bed, when I saw the notification. A message request from someone I didn't follow. I almost ignored it. But something made me click. The profile picture was blurry, just a woman's silhouette. No username I recognized. No bio. But the message made my blood run cold. Emily, it's me. Your mother. I know it's been a long time. I've been following your page for a while now, and I'm so proud of what you've become. You're doing amazing things. I'd love to reconnect. I think we have a lot to talk about. You can reach me at this number if you're open to it. I read it 3 times, my heart pounding harder with each pass. She'd been following me. Watching. For how long? I scrolled through my recent posts, photos of my campus, my art projects, dinners with friends, a picture of my dad and me at a museum. She'd seen all of it. I put my phone down and tried to breathe. Then I picked it back up and kept reading. Because there was more. I know I made mistakes. I know I hurt you. But you have to understand, I was in a dark place back then. I've changed. I've grown. And I think I deserve to be part of your life now. You're my daughter, Emily. That doesn't just go away. I'd really like to hear from you. Let's talk. Let's move forward. Mom. The word deserve hit me like a slap. She thought she deserved this. After everything. After the gas station. After the letter. After years of silence. She saw me succeeding, saw me happy, and suddenly she wanted in. I didn't respond. I just stared at the screen until my vision blurred. Then I locked my phone and went to bed. But I didn't sleep. The next morning, I told my roommate, Britt, what happened. She was sitting at our kitchen table eating cereal when I walked out, phone in hand. You look like you've seen a ghost, she said. Close. I handed her my phone. She read the message, her eyes widening. Wait, this is her. The one who... Yeah. Britt set the phone down carefully, like it might explode. What are you going to do? I don't know. Are you going to respond? I don't know. She studied me for a second. Do you want to? I sat down across from her. Part of me does. Part of me wants to ask her why. Why now? Why after all this time? And the other part? The other part wants to block her and never think about it again. Britt nodded slowly. Both of those are valid. I stared at my phone sitting on the table between us. She said she deserves to be part of my life. That's bold. That's insane, I corrected. She doesn't get to show up now and act like she's owed something. Britt reached across the table and squeezed my hand. Then don't give it to her. But ignoring her wasn't as easy as I thought. Over the next few days, more messages came through. Emily, I know you saw my message. Please don't shut me out. I understand if you're angry. But we can work through this. I'm your mother. You can't just pretend I don't exist. Each one felt more desperate. More entitled. And they still didn't respond. Then, a week later, something shifted. I posted a photo, a shot of the Denver skyline at sunset. Simple. Nothing personal. And she commented. Publicly. Beautiful shot, sweetheart. You've always had such a good eye. So proud of you. Red heart. My stomach turned. She was trying to insert herself into my life. Not privately. Publicly. Where people could see. A few of my friends commented below hers, confused. Who's this? Wait, is this your mom? I deleted her comment immediately and blocked her. But the damage was done. She knew how to find me. And she wasn't going to stop. That night, I called my dad. "She found me," I said as soon as he picked up. There was a pause. "How?" "Online. She's been following my account. She messaged me. She's trying to, I don't know, be part of my life again." He was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke, his voice was careful. "What did she say?" I told him everything. The messages. The comments. The word deserve. "She thinks I owe her something," I said. "After everything she did, she thinks I owe her." "You don't owe her anything, Emily." "I know. But she's not going to stop, is she?" He sighed. "No. Probably not. Your mom doesn't give up when she wants something. She pushes until she gets it or until someone pushes back harder. So what do I do?" "That's up to you. You can ignore her. You can block her. You can respond." He paused. "But if you do respond, make sure you're doing it for you. Not for her." I leaned back against my couch, exhausted. "I don't know what I want yet." "Then take your time. There's no rush." We hung up, and I sat there in the quiet of my apartment. She wanted back in. After all this time. After all that pain. And I had to decide, was I going to let her? Or was I going to teach her a lesson of my own? I couldn't let it go. For days after blocking her, I kept thinking about what my dad said. Your mom doesn't give up when she wants something. But why did she want this now? Why, after years of silence, did she suddenly care? I needed answers. And I wasn't going to get them from her. So I started digging. I went through old boxes my dad kept in the hall closet, stuff from before the divorce that he never threw away. Photo albums. Birthday cards. A few legal documents he'd saved. I found their marriage certificate. Divorce papers. A restraining order request that was never filed. That last one stopped me cold. A restraining order. Against my mom. I took a picture of it with my phone and texted my dad. "What is this?" He called me 5 minutes later. "Where did you find that?" His voice was tight. "In your closet. You were going to file a restraining order against her." He exhaled slowly. "I considered it. After I left. She started showing up at my work. Calling me at all hours. Threatening to keep you from me if I didn't come back." "Did she keep you from me?" "Yeah. She did." His voice was bitter. "I tried to fight for custody, Emily. I really did. But she had a lawyer. She had documentation that I'd abandoned the family. And she convinced the court that I was unstable." I felt my chest tighten. "So you just gave up?" "No. I stepped back because she told me if I kept pushing, she'd make your life worse. And I believed her." He paused. "I was trying to protect you. By leaving me with her. I know how it sounds. But Emily, you have to understand, your mom doesn't fight fair. She fights dirty. And I didn't want you caught in the middle of that." I sat down on my bed, staring at the photo on my phone. Was she always like this? Another pause. Longer this time. "No," he said finally. "When I met her, she was different. But after we got married, after you were born, things changed. She became controlling. Paranoid. She needed to be in charge of everything." "Did she ever hurt you?" "Not physically. But emotionally. Yeah. She knew exactly what to say to make me feel small. Worthless. And when I finally had enough and left, she made sure I knew she'd never forgive me for it. I thought about the letter. About the gas station. She used me to punish you, I said quietly. I know. And you let her. Emily. I'm not blaming you, I interrupted. I'm just trying to understand. He was quiet for a moment. I made mistakes. I should have fought harder. I should have found a way to get you out sooner. But I was scared. And I'm sorry. I wiped my eyes. I need to know more about her. About why she's like this. What do you mean? I need to talk to someone who knew her before. Someone who saw what she was really like. He hesitated. You could call your Aunt Diane. Mom's sister. Yeah. They haven't spoken in years, but if anyone knows the full story, it's her. I called Diane the next day. I hadn't spoken to her since I was a kid, maybe 9 or 10. I remembered her as quiet, always a little nervous around my mom. She picked up on the third ring. Hello. Aunt Diane. It's Emily. Emily Cooper. There was a sharp intake of breath. Emily. Oh my God. How are you? Where are you? I'm in Colorado. With my dad. Good. That's good. Her voice softened. I heard what happened. At the gas station. I wanted to reach out, but Mom wouldn't let you. She cut me off years ago. I wasn't allowed to contact you. I closed my eyes. Why? Diane sighed. Because I called her out. I told her what she was doing to you wasn't okay. And she didn't like that. What do you mean, what she was doing to me? The control. The coldness. The way she treated you like a project instead of a person. Diane's voice cracked. She did the same thing to me growing up. And to our mother before she died. My stomach dropped. She did this to other people? Emily, your mom has always been like this. She needs control. And when she doesn't get it, she punishes people. She did it to me. She did it to your dad. And when you got older, she did it to you. Why? I don't know. Maybe it's how she was raised. Maybe it's something deeper. But I stopped trying to figure it out years ago. I just got out. I swallowed hard. She found me online. She's trying to reconnect. Diane was silent for a beat. Of course she is. What does that mean? It means she saw you're doing well. And she can't stand it. Can't stand what? That you're happy without her. That you built a life she had no part in. Your mom doesn't forgive people who move on, Emily. She needs them to stay broken so she can feel in control. The words hit me like cold water. So what do I do? You don't let her back in, Diane said firmly. You don't engage. You don't explain. You don't give her the satisfaction of knowing she still affects you. And if she doesn't stop, then you make it clear that you're not the same scared kid she left at that gas station. You're stronger now. And she can't touch you anymore. We talked for another 20 minutes. Diane told me stories about their childhood, about how my mom would manipulate situations, turn people against each other, rewrite history to make herself the victim. By the time I hung up, I understood something I hadn't before. This wasn't about me. It never was. It was about power. Control. Revenge. And I wasn't going to give her any of it. I spent the next week thinking about what Diane said. You don't let her back in. You don't engage. But part of me still wanted to say something. To tell her exactly what I thought of her. to make her understand the damage she caused. I drafted responses in my notes app late at night when I couldn't sleep. You don't deserve anything from me. You left me at a gas station to punish my dad, and you think I owe you forgiveness. I was 14. I was your daughter. And you used me like I was nothing. But every time I read them back, they felt wrong. Because responding meant she still had power over me. It meant I still cared what she thought. And I didn't want to care anymore. So I made a different choice. I unblocked her account. But I didn't message her back. Instead, I changed my profile from private to public. Then I kept posting photos of my life, my campus, my art, dinners with my dad, trips with friends, everything I'd built without her. I didn't caption them with explanations or emotions. I just let them exist. And I knew she'd see them. A few days later, she commented again. On a photo of me and my dad at a coffee shop. Miss you, sweetheart. We should catch up soon. I didn't delete it this time. I left it there. But I didn't respond. Other people did, though. Who's this? Wait, is this your mom? I thought you said you didn't talk to her. Everything okay, Em? I replied to my friends privately, keeping it vague. Long story. I'm fine. But I didn't engage with her comment. A week later, she tried again. This time on a photo of me at a gallery opening. So proud of you. You've come so far. I always knew you'd do great things. The words made my skin crawl. Always knew. She didn't know anything. She wasn't there. But I still didn't respond. The messages in my DM started coming more frequently after that. Emily, why are you ignoring me? I can see you're active. I know you're seeing these. This is childish. We're both adults now. We should be able to talk. Then, a few days later. I don't understand why you're being so cold. I'm trying here. I'm reaching out. What more do you want from me? I almost laughed. What more do I want? An apology. Accountability. Acknowledgement that what she did was wrong. But she wasn't offering any of that. She just wanted access. Control. A way back into my life on her terms. And I wasn't giving it to her. 2 weeks after I unblocked her, the tone of her messages shifted. You know, I gave you life, Emily. I raised you. I did my best with what I had. You don't get to just erase me because things didn't go the way you wanted. I deserve respect. I deserve to be part of your story. There it was again. Deserve. Like motherhood was a contract I was violating. I took a screenshot and sent it to my dad. She's getting desperate, he said when he called me. Good. He paused. Emily, are you sure about this? Ignoring her might make it worse. Maybe. But responding makes her think she still matters. And she doesn't. I thought about it. No. She doesn't. Not anymore. The final message came a week later. It was longer than the others. Angrier. You think you're better than me now? You think because you went to college and have a cute little life that you're somehow superior? You wouldn't have any of that without me. I'm the reason you exist. I'm the reason you're even capable of survival. You're just like your father, cold, selfish, ungrateful. Fine. Keep ignoring me. But don't come crying to me when life gets hard and you realize you need family. Because I won't be there. I read it twice. Then I did something I should have done weeks ago. I replied. One sentence. I'm not cold. I'm just no longer yours to abandon. Then I blocked her. Not just on that account. On everything. Every platform. Every possible way she could reach me. I blocked her number. Her email. I made my profiles private again, scrubbed any trace of her from my life. And this time, I didn't feel guilty. I felt free. That night, Britt came home and found me sitting on the couch, staring at my phone. "You okay?" she asked. "Yeah." I looked up at her. "I think I actually am." "What happened?" I responded. "Just once." And then I blocked her. Britt sat down next to me. "What did you say?" I showed her the message. She read it, then smiled. "That's perfect." "You think?" I think she finally realized she can't control you anymore. And that's probably killing her. I leaned back into the couch. Good. Because the truth was, I didn't need her forgiveness. I didn't need her approval. I just needed her gone. And now she was. 3 months passed. I stopped checking to see if she tried to reach me. Stopped wondering if she was watching. I focused on school. On my projects. On the life I'd built. And then, in early March, my phone rang. It was Aunt Diane. "Hey," I answered. "Everything okay?" "I need to tell you something," she said. Her voice was careful. Measured. "What's wrong?" "Your mom reached out to me." My stomach tightened. "When?" "Last week. She called me out of nowhere." "We haven't spoken in over a decade, Emily." "What did she want?" Diane hesitated. "She wanted money. And she wanted me to talk to you on her behalf." I sat down slowly. "What did you tell her?" "I told her no. To both. And she didn't take it well. She started yelling. Saying I'd always been jealous of her. That I turned you against her. That everyone in the family was conspiring to ruin her life." I closed my eyes. Classic. "But here's the thing, Emily." She sounded desperate. Like she's struggling. Really struggling. "With what?" "Money, from what I could tell." She mentioned losing her job. Something about not being able to afford rent. I didn't respond right away. Part of me, the part that still remembered being her daughter, felt a flicker of concern. But the rest of me, the part that remembered the gas station, the letter, the years of silence, that part felt nothing. "She made her choices," I said finally. "I know. I just thought you should know she's reaching out to people. Trying to get back in with the family." "Is it working?" "No. No one's responding. She burned too many bridges." We talked for a few more minutes, then hung up. I sat there on my couch, phone in hand, thinking about what Diane said. My mom was struggling. Alone. Reaching out to people who didn't want her anymore. And I realized something. This was the lesson she'd been teaching me my whole life. The one she tried to drill into me at that gas station. Life doesn't babysit anyone. She just didn't realize she'd be the one learning it. A week later, I got a notification. Someone had tried to add me on a platform I rarely used. When I checked, the profile had no picture. No posts. Just a generic username. But the bio said, Karen Cooper. She'd made a new account. A burner. Trying to get around the block. I stared at it for a long moment. Then I declined the request and made my account private. That Sunday, I went to my dad's place for dinner like I did every week. He made spaghetti, overcooked as usual, and we sat at his small kitchen table, eating in comfortable silence. Deanne told me Mom reached out to her, I said after a while. He looked up. I heard. Did she try to contact you? She did. I didn't answer. I twirled pasta around my fork. Do you ever feel bad for how things turned out for her? He thought about it. Sometimes. But then I remember what she did. Not just to me, to you. And I stopped feeling bad. She's alone now. No family. No support. That's her doing, Emily. Not yours. I know. But part of me wonders, what if I'd responded differently? What if I'd tried to forgive her? He set his fork down and looked at me. Do you want to forgive her? I shook my head. No. Then don't. Forgiveness isn't something you owe to people who never asked for it. It's something you give when you're ready. And if you're never ready, that's okay too. I nodded slowly. She tried to add me again. On another account. What did you do? Declined it. Good. We kept eating. And after a while, he asked me something he'd never asked before. Do you think she regrets it? What she did? I thought about the messages. The comments. The desperation. I don't think she regrets what she did, I said. I think she regrets that it didn't work out the way she wanted. He nodded. That sounds about right. Later that night, back in my apartment, I sat at my desk and opened my laptop. I pulled up an old document I'd started months ago but never finished, a personal essay about the gas station. About what happened. About what I learned. I'd been too scared to finish it before. Too scared to put it into words. But now, I wasn't scared anymore. I wrote for hours. About the abandonment. About the silence. About the choice I made to walk away. And when I finished, I read it back. It was honest. Raw. Real. And it was mine. I didn't post it online. Didn't share it with anyone. But I saved it. Because one day, I might. A few weeks later, I was walking through campus when my phone buzzed. A message from an unknown number. This is your mother. I know you blocked me. But I need you to know, I'm sorry. For everything. I was wrong. Please, can we talk? I stared at the message. For a long time, I didn't move. Then I deleted it. And I kept walking. Because here's the thing about lessons. She taught me hers at that gas station. But life taught her mine. And I didn't have to say a word.